they're here. Well, now I'm coming. How does Anne look? You'll see soon enough. Now, let the folks in.
Merry Christmas!
Oh, hello. Come in. Come in. Well, that was some mighty fine singing, everyone. You deserve a reward.
We've had too many rewards already at the Flies, Aspersions, and Gilsies, and the Pies, and we've still got 3 more stops to make.
Where's Anne?
Still getting ready.
She has to look perfect tonight. She's the star of the program.
She's one of the stars. Ruby's reciting too, and so does Gilbert.
Well, Anne told me that you were singing a solo, Diana, and that you're really good.
But I'm not near as good as a singer as Anne is a speaker. When she recites "Curfew shall not ring tonight," it sends chills up and down my spine.
Well, she's been practicing it all over the house today. Didn't hardly have time to open her presents.
Minnie Mae, did you bring Anne's gift?
No, I left it out on the sleigh.
Well, go get it. We're mighty grateful to Anne. We have to thank her for Minnie Mae being with us this Christmas. The doctor said Anne saved her life.
Well, Anne was equally grateful when you came over here and asked forgiveness regarding that other matter. I remember how Anne flew out of here the day that you said she could play with Diana again.
And they were sitting together the very next day. When Anne came back to school, her hair made her look like a perfect scarecrow.
Well, her hair sure grew back faster than a scarecrow's. Anne!
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas!
Your dress, it's beautiful.
Matthew gave it to me. It's the perfect Christmas gift. Anne, you've got puffs. This is for you. Why, thank you, Minnie Mae. It's for your hair. It's lovely. And it even matches my dress. How did you know?
Rachel Lynde was involved in the project. Need I say more? Well, let's all get going to the concert. We still have 6 more people to pick up. Hope we can fit them all in 2 buggies and a sleigh.
Would you like to ride in my rig, Anne?
No, thank you. I'll ride with the berries.
Well, since Anne is spending the night with Diana, Matthew and I will go in our own buggy.
Then we'll see you all at the concert.
Oh, Anne, I'm so excited. You look absolutely stunning in your dress, Diana.
Anne looks real pretty in that dress.
It was a nice present, Matthew. I wasn't exactly sure that she needed another dress, but at least she'll make a good impression when she's reciting tonight.
She speaks her poetry real well.
She's a bright child, Matthew. I'm awful proud of her, but I'm not going to tell her so.
Well, I'm proud of her, and I did tell her so. I think that she's smart enough to pass them entrance examinations to Queen's when the time comes.
Well, Mrs. Barry said that they were keeping Diana in school right here in Avonlea.
Queen's gives a mighty fine education.
For a mighty fine price.
I reckon we could afford it somehow.
Matthew, I'd miss her something terrible if she went away.
But we have to do what's right by her.
Well, we don't have to think about it for a little while.
The time will come soon enough. We ought to keep it on our minds.
Oh, well, they must be stopping at the Andersons now.
Yeah, I guess we better think about going.
Now, Matthew Cuthbert, I know why you've been sitting here gabbing. You didn't wish to join in on the singing.
Well, now, you're right.
I've never seen a man so shy. Before Anne came, the only people you were comfortable around were me and the sorrel mare.
Well, no, maybe the mayor. And,
No, go on, you.
Oh, it was a perfectly brilliant evening.
Everything went off so well.
Your solo was elegant. I was so proud of you when they encored you back on stage.
Well, your recitation simply brought the house down. And Gilbert Blythe did splendid too. He looked at you the whole time he was reciting.
I didn't notice.
Oh, Anne, isn't it wonderful how we can stay up as long as we'd like?
Curfew shall not ring tonight.
Let's go upstairs. It'll be special since we get to sleep in the spare room tonight.
The spare room. Let's race to see who can get there first.
All right.
First one to land on the bed is the winner.
Then we'll put on our nightgowns and read far into the night. This is so much fun.
Get on your mark.
Get set, go! Ow! Oh, merciful goodness.
Who was that? What was that?
Oh, Anne,
of Green Gables. It was all my fault, Miss Barry, jumping on your bed like that. Diana's a very ladylike girl. You mustn't blame her.
Oh, I mustn't, eh?
It was all in fun. We had no idea you were in there. Please forgive us, or at least forgive Diana, and give her back her music lessons. If you must be cross with anyone, be cross with me. In my early days as an orphan, many people were cross with me, so I can endure it much better than Diana.
Only in fun, you say?
That was all. We had no idea you were in there.
Well, I suppose your claim to sympathy is as strong as mine. You seem like an interesting girl.
You, Miss Barry, might even be a kindred spirit, even if you don't look like one.
Then you're not leaving in the morning, Aunt Josephine?
No, I'll stay the 2 weeks. I want to see your first music lessons to make sure I'm getting my money's worth.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe this Anne girl will come visit me occasionally.
Of course I will, Miss Barry.
Good night, Aunt Josephine. Thank you, Anne. I'll be eternally grateful.
Well, it was all my fault. Mrs. Lynde says I'm too impulsive. But when something jumps into your mind that's so exciting, you have to do it right away. If you stop to think it over, it'll spoil it all.
Girls, you're still up. I forgot to tell you, Diana. Your Aunt Josephine came to visit while we were at the concert. Your father gave her the spare room, so you too will have to sleep with Minnie May. And I think you should go to bed now. For heaven's sakes, don't wake up Aunt Josephine. She would never forgive you if you did. And Diana, that might mean the end of your music lessons.
Oh, we wouldn't dream of waking her, Miss Barry.
Wouldn't dream of it at all.
Yeah, how are your glasses?
Why, Rilla and Matthew? What brings you to town on the harvesting day?
Oh, well, we are here to see the doctor. I've been getting those headaches again.
You poor dear. What did he say?
He gave me a new pair of glasses last week, but they never seem to do any good. Said that the next time the specialist comes to the island, I'm to go see him. Of course, Matthew's really the one who needs to go see the doctor, what with his heart and all, but I can never get him to go.
Is Anne back from the exhibition in Charlottetown?
Oh, Mr. Barry's driving him back tonight. It was very nice of Miss Josephine Barry to let them stay with her.
I always thought that woman was an old sourpuss, but she sure took a shine to Anne.
Like everybody does.
Matthew, I saw your rig parked outside the general store, and that old mare looked awful thirsty to me.
Well, now I guess we'd better be getting home. Come on, Marilla.
Why don't you go water the mare, Matthew? I have to talk to Marilla about a new recipe I'm trying out. She'll be along in a minute. Does Matthew still have all his money in Abbott's bank?
Every penny we've got.
I hear the bank's a little shaky. Mr. Abbott's getting awful old, and he's letting his nephews run the bank. You might think of putting your money someplace else.
Well, I'll mention it to Matthew. Thank you, Rick.
Why, the Reverend and Mrs. Allen.
Good morning, Miss.
Lind, Miss Rachel Lind.
I'm sorry, all the names before long.
I told my husband that I'd memorize the congregation's name if he'd memorize the Sunday sermons. And very good ones they are, too. I miss Reverend Bentley's sermons, of course. But I had his memorized even before he retired. Let's see. The people that you were just talking with? The Cuthberts? Correct. Their girl was in my Sunday school class, and when I asked the pupils to share their favorite Bible verse, Anne said hers was, God's in his heaven, all's right with the world. I reminded her that the poet Robert Browning wrote that, but then we both agreed that it probably should be in the Bible. She certainly is a fine, intelligent young lady.
Of course she is. I practically raised her myself.
Very pleased to have you, Miss Lynn.
Well, it's a new day in our town with all the comings and goings. We'll even have a new school teacher in the fall. A woman, of all things. I'm for giving women the vote, but I don't know if we ought to be giving them our schools. It could be a dangerous innovation. Of course, Canada's going to the dogs anyway. With the way things are being run in Ottawa. But nobody asked my opinion, so I'll just keep my thoughts to myself. Good day, Reverend. Thanks, Lind.
Sloane?
A small friendly game of I dare you.
Ooh. All right, we'll make our dares in here while we finish our tea, and then we can go out into the garden and do them.
Ruby Gillis, I dare you to climb that big willow tree outside. But it's full of green caterpillars.
Oh.
That's why I dare you. All right, I will.
Good.
Wonderful. Jane Andrews, I dare you to hop around the garden on your left leg without stopping.
But I don't have good balance.
I know. That's why I dared you.
Very well. I will.
Wonderful.
Josie Pye, I dare you to walk around the top of the wooden fence that surrounds the garden.
Ooh.
But I have my slippery shoes on.
That's why I dare you.
Okay, I will. And I dare you and Shirley to walk the ridgepole on top of the roof.
High places make Anne dizzy.
I know. That's why I dared her.
She'll fall off and be killed, Josie. It isn't fair to dare anyone to do something so dangerous.
Anyways, Josie, you've already given one dare. That's all you're allowed.
Don't do it, Anne.
I must. My honor's at stake.
No, Anne, it's too dangerous.
Let's go. How will you first? I shall climb that ridgepole on the roof or perish in the attempt.
Oh, Anne. Ugh, you're always doing these sorts of things. Wait, someone help me take these dishes back to the kitchen. Mother will kill me if I don't.
She's going to do it. Oh, my goodness. Be careful, Anne. Look at her. Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
Look,
I can hear up there on the roof. Be careful! The slants on the roof are very steep. Oh, Anne.
The ridgepole. Look at her go. Oh, my
She showed you, Josie Pye. Oh. Come down now, Anne. Don't wait for me to see. Why is she swaying?
I think she's slipping.
Grab the ridgepole. Anne, look out. Grab the ridgepole.
Oh, my goodness.
Anne!
I just don't see a need for me to be here when she comes.
Oh, it's customary for the whole family to be on hand when company arrives. Now, button that top button on your shirt.
Well, it ain't the preacher himself, it's only his wife.
I've never seen a man so afraid of women.
Oh, I ain't afraid. I just need to get the cows fed.
Oh, well, she'll only be here a little while. Anyway, there's something that I have to talk to you about before she gets here. There is some talk that the Abbott Bank is getting a bit shaky.
That's all it is, talk. Papa kept his money in that bank and it was safe all those years.
And times are changing, Matthew. I'd feel better if we put what we got over into the savings bank instead. Oh, just think about it, will you? Oh, why, afternoon, Mrs. Allen.
Hello, and how are the Cuthberts today?
As well as could be expected. Have a seat. Anne, Mrs. Allen's here.
How is she managing these days?
Pretty well, given the circumstances. It sure perked her up when I told her that you were coming today. She even baked a special layer cake just for you.
How thoughtful.
Later on, I know she'll want to show you her flower plot out in the garden.
It's a fine girl you both are raising here. Did she tell you that we have the same favorite poet, Robert Browning?
Oh, her and her poetry. Seems to be all that she read when she was a little girl. Seems some wealthy widow donated a batch of books to the orphanage. Must have been the only reading material they had.
Well, I think Browning very accurately describes Anne in this line. The good stars met your horoscope and made you a spirit and fire and dew.
That's our Anne.
Hello, Mrs. Allen. Why, Anne, you're hardly handicapped at all. Matthew made this crutch for me. It's quite a work of art.
Well, let's have some cake. I'm sure Matthew's very anxious to get back to his pigs.
Speaking of the cows.
Anne, I'm very excited to taste your cake. You know, I came today, especially since it's the first day of school, and I thought you might be a little down on the dumps. Oh, well, that's very thoughtful of you, Mrs. Allen, but I won't miss too much school. The test will come off in only 2 more weeks. Miss Stacy, she's our new teacher, she said that she'd try and drop off my assignments before I start back. Is something the matter?
Oh! Mrs. Allen, don't eat any more, even to be nice. Anne, Shirley, what on earth did you put in this cake?
Just the recipe. What's wrong?
Oh, it's awful. Taste it yourself. What flavoring did you use?
Vanilla! The bottle's
on us, Anne. You flavored this cake with adenine liniment.
Liniment?
I broke the liniment bottle last week and filled what was left into this old vanilla bottle. I suppose it's partially my fault that I didn't tell you, but couldn't you smell the liniment?
No, I couldn't. I was just getting over my summer cold. Oh, Mrs. Allen, can you ever forgive me? There's nothing to forgive, my dear. They appreciate your thoughtfulness just as much as if the cake had turned out all right. Now you mustn't feel bad. This certainly is a new one for me. You see, Mrs. Allen, I certainly do make a lot of mistakes. But the one comforting thing is, I never make the same mistake twice.
Well, I don't know if that's much benefit when you're constantly making new ones.
Don't you see, Marilla? There must be a limit to the amount of mistakes a certain person can make. And once I've gotten to the end of them, I'm through with the mistakes forever.
Well, looks like I can feed what's left of this cake to the pigs. I'm sure, Matthew, you can get back to your cows. Wonderful.
Anne, I'm very eager to see your flower plot. Why don't you show it? Oh, of course. You see, Mrs. Allen, I certainly do think that fall flowers are the best. They're the brightest colored, the prettiest smelling. They are... Gilbert Blythe!
Hello, Mrs. Allen. Anne?
Gilbert? Anne, I'll go on ahead. You can join me later. Oh, Mrs. Allen! No! What are you doing here?
Miss Stacy let me bring your books and assignments to you.
Why would you want to do that?
Maybe it's because I don't want you to have any excuses when I score higher than you on the Queen's entrance examinations.
Perhaps you'll be the one looking for the excuse.
We'll see. Goodbye.
Gilbert,
Yes?
thank you. Again.
Again?
I was remembering that incident on the river last summer.
When you and the other girls were acting out the Tennyson poem and your flatboat started to sing? I couldn't let you drown, could I? I'm just glad I happened along when I did.
So am I.
And has it ever occurred to you that we might possibly be friends?
It has somewhat.
I'm awful sorry I made fun of your hair that time. Besides, that was so long ago. I think your hair is awful pretty now. Honest, I do.
Carrots! You called me carrots! I can never be friends with you, Gilbert Blythe, never!
Fine, and I'll never ask you to be friends with me again, Anne Shirley. Goodbye.
Why did he really bring these books over? Was it truly so I wouldn't have an excuse if he scored higher than me on the entrance examinations? Probably so. Well, I'll beat you, Gilbert Blythe. When we're studying Queens, I'll study day and night to make sure I get that gold medal. Oh, Anne, the chrysanthemums are lovely. What brilliant yellow brown. Mrs. Allen, I almost forgot. I'm coming, Mrs. Allen. It just takes a little while. Dearest Diana, here it is Tuesday night, and I'm writing to you as I promised. I'm here at your Aunt Josephine's. It was so very kind of her to let me stay with her while I take the Queen's examinations. We begin tomorrow. Everyone was frightfully nervous, and the moods varied with the individuals.
My hands are full of ice. Feel my hands just...
I think I'm going to fail algebra. I really think I am.
Charlie, you have to be more positive.
Okay. I will fail algebra. I know I will.
I've been sending Anne. She knows everything. I'm sure she'll do well. Even if Anne does pass, I don't think she can handle the grind of studying to be a teacher. Anyways, everybody knows Gilbert will do better on the exams than Anne.
You know, Jimmy Gilbert bet Ned Wright $1 that Anne would score higher than Gilbert. The Bible says we should not bet.
Where does it say that?
12 times 5 is 60, 12 times 6 is 72.
Maurice Spurgeon, what are you doing?
I'm saying my multiplication table. 12 times 7.
He's been saying them for 3 hours.
It stays my nerves and makes me calm, but don't interrupt. Don't interrupt. 8 is 96.
Hello, everyone. I'll be trying to pick you up early in the morning, so I suggest you all get a good night's sleep. And I know you wish to study as much as you can tonight, but don't cram. Relax and clear your heads. And I suggest we begin by taking a short break and going uptown for ice cream. I am very proud of you all and wish you the best of luck tomorrow.
Oh, Diana, if only the geometry examination were over. But as Miss Lynn would say, the sun will go on rising and setting whether I fail in geometry or not. But I think I'd rather it didn't go on if I failed. I wish so much that you were here with me. Yours devotedly, Anne.
Diana, come help me with the dishes. They won't wash themselves, you know.
Coming, Mother.
Matthew, Marilla, I'm home. Home. Oh, I've missed you. I love you, Green Gables. I love you to pieces. And you too, Matthew.
Oh, well now, how did you get along?
I don't know whether I passed or not. I have this creepy, crawling feeling I didn't. But I'd rather not pass it off. I didn't come out ahead of Gilbert. A certain someone. Oh, Marilla, how I love you. It seems I've been gone much longer than 3 days.
Oh, more like 3 years. How did she do?
She thinks she failed, but I don't believe a word of it.
Oh, well, if you did, that means you won't be going away next year. When will you know?
The cast list will be posted in the Charlottetown newspaper today, but we won't get it until tomorrow. Right now, I'd rather not worry about that. I just want to enjoy being here with the two of you. Marilla, what's wrong?
Probably her headaches again.
Oh, no, it's not that. I just missed you, that's all. And I'm glad to see you. And I fear you'll be gone next year.
If I passed, and anyway, I'll come home every weekend to see you. They'll even have a passenger train service by then.
You've grown so tall and stylish. I remember the way you were with all your funny little ways. You're even quieter now, but you've changed.
No, I haven't. I've just branched out is all. No matter where I go or how much I change outwardly, I'll always be your little Anne, who will love you and Matthew and Green Gables more and better every day of my life.
Well, now you've got me all mushy and teary-eyed. Go upstairs, put on your everyday clothes, and help me feed the chicken.
I'd love nothing better. Anne? Oh, Anne, you're back! Diana.
Oh, I'm sorry I didn't knock. I know that it's impolite, but this is urgent. Look, you passed.
What?
Father brought the paper home from Bright River not minutes ago. He got it right off the train. Here's the pass list. You and Gilbert tied for first, and everyone from Avonlea passed. Miss Stacy will be so delighted. Moody Spurgeon got a conditional in history, and Josie Pye barely scraped by. But everyone from Avonlea passed, and her name is at the top of the list.
Oh, Matthew, Marilla, I passed, and I'm first. Or one of the first, anyway. I'm not being vain, I'm just being very grateful.
Well, now, I knew you could beat them all.
You've done pretty well, I must say.
Oh, Anne, I got your letter. It was so exciting. You must tell me all about your trip.
I must help Marilla feed the chickens.
Oh, nonsense. Matthew can help me do that. You girls do your visiting, and make sure to catch up on everything.
Thank you, Marilla. Diana, come upstairs with me while I unpack. Oh, you wouldn't believe the English examination. My head was simply whirling, but
Well, I guess you did a fairly good job with her after all, Marilla.
Oh, go on.
And me putting my oar in didn't hurt too much, I suppose. She's a smart girl, and pretty, and loving, too.
She is that.
She's been a blessing to us, that's sure. There never was a luckier mistake than what Mrs. Spencer made. If it was luck, I think it was Providence, because the Almighty saw we needed her.
Matthew Cuthbert, are you going to stand there gabbing all day, or help me feed the chickens?
I was feeding the cows.
You're always feeding the cows. Here, start calling. Here, chick, 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 chick. Here, chick, 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 chick.
We'll wait for you in the parlor, Josie. Josie, please hurry. It won't be daylight much longer. Fine. Charlottetown is much more exciting after dark. Why is she getting so fancied up anyway? She hopes to see her French professor in town. And why not? He's simply a duck. Well, I prefer men my own age. Like Gilbert Blythe. I've seen him carrying your books, Ruby. Josie, are you ready? I just need some help with this necklace. Is Anne coming? No, she's studying, as usual.
You better get into town while it's still daylight or you'll have to be escorted.
We're being detained by Joseph's jeweler.
Come with us, Anne. You can't study all weekend.
Anyways, everybody knows Emily Claire Lewis Williams will win the gold medal.
Or Gilbert Blythe. Or Anne Shirley. In fact, I'll bet Anne can win the Avery Scholarship if Queens were awarded one.
Ready?
At last. You sure you won't come with us, Anne?
Well, thank you, but Miss Barry's coming to pick me up in a few minutes. I'm spending the night with her.
How nice. Remember how we all used to go every weekend before Christmas? We were so homesick then.
And we didn't have so much homework to do.
Oh look, there's Gilbert on the front porch now. We can walk us into town. Goodbye, Anne. Have a nice time at Miss Barry's.
Thank you, I will. We were so homesick then. Well, some of us still are. Oh, how I wish I could go back to Green Gables. Matthew's probably coming in from the field now. Marilla's making tea for him and the hired hand. They'll talk of the chickens, the cows, the crops. Will they talk of me? Do they miss me as much as I miss them?
Anne, girl.
Miss Barry. Would you be terribly offended if I called you Aunt Josephine?
No, I would be terribly offended if you didn't.
Thank you so much for letting me spend the night with you. I'm so glad I'm going home with you.
Will you stay the whole weekend?
Why, thank you, but final exams are right around the corner, and I must do well if I am to get my teaching license.
Well, at least we can make the most of one night. I had my could make a fancy wild turkey with all the trimmings. How does that sound?
Simply wonderful.
Come now, the driver's waiting. Oh, by the way, did I see that live boy on the porch?
Well, I believe so.
Nice young man. Seems like a good match for you, Anne.
Well, now, I'm not so sure.
I am. He's attractive, seems studious, ambitious, and he possesses an even more important feature.
What's that, Aunt Josephine?
A strong chin. Well, it's true. A strong chin is a man's most important feature. Now, a man with a weak chin is as apt to leave you as he is to love you. When I was a girl about your age,
I think it's this way.
No, don't you know? You brought her here to the academy.
Well, yeah, but that was a year ago. And by buggy, we came by train this time.
Oh, well, Rachel, have you ever been to Charlottetown?
No one to the fairgrounds and to hear the premiere with you that time.
I think maybe it's that way.
Oh, well, if all else fails, we can always ask somebody.
Miss Cuthbert, Miss Lind, you're going the wrong way.
Miss Stacy, you're a beacon in the fog.
I haven't seen you since you left Avonlea.
I wouldn't miss the graduation of the best students I ever had. I only wish they could continue on to college.
We just wish we had the money for it. Queens was about as much as we could
Oh,
handle.
who can afford to send their child to college?
Josie Pye's father could, but I doubt she'll ever graduate from Queens.
Well, I hear the teaching position at Avonlea is vacant again.
That's right, and Gilbert Blythe has applied for headmaster. We haven't had a man since Mr. Phillips. Imagine me calling Gilbert a man.
Come, follow me. We don't want to be late.
Oh, I am so excited. I've got my best dress for the occasion now.
Thank you again for your kind attention. As I mentioned inside of the official graduation ceremony, it is our custom to gather briefly outside here in the courtyard to present what is traditionally our highest honor, the Queen's Academy Gold Medal. I am very pleased to announce this year's recipient, a student who has shown both outstanding qualities both personally and scholastically. From the village of Avonlea, Prince Edward Island, Mr. Gilbert Blythe. Normally, this would conclude our formal presentation, but this year, we have another equally prestigious award to bestow upon one of our graduates. As many of you know, the late Mr. Neville Avery of New Brunswick left a portion of his fortune to endow scholarships among the various schools and academies in the Maritime provinces. According to their respective standings, and due to Queen's unusually high academic achievements this year, Queen's Academy has been awarded such a scholarship. It carries with it 4 years fully paid at Redmond College, leading to the Bachelor of Arts degree. I am extremely privileged to announce this year's recipient of this rare scholarship, a student who could not be more deserving nor delightful, I might add. Again, from the village of Mountain Lake, Prince Edward Island, Miss Anne Shirley. And now I invite all of our friends, family, and alumni to join the faculty and graduates on the green for reception and refreshments. This year's graduation ceremony is now officially concluded.
Congratulations, Miss Shirley.
The same to you, Mr. Blythe. There's Matthew and Marilla, and Mrs. Lynde, and Miss Stacy. How nice of her to come. And Diana, dear, dear Diana. Would you look at that moody Spurgeon, first in line for the cookies? I'm coming, Diana. Save a glass of punch for me.
Martin, that was a pretty heavy load for the horses to carry all the way from the station. You go get her some water while I bring in the bags. Well, it's good to be back.
Oh, we've only been gone 2 days.
I guess that's about as long as I've ever been away.
Oh, it looks like the new hired hand took care of things pretty well while we were away. Now, you let me get the rest of the bags. You mind your heart. Just get the mail.
Where's Anne?
Oh, still gabbing with Diana, I reckon. It was very nice of Mr. Barry to let her come home with us.
Goodbye, Diana. I'll be right over as soon as I unpack. Oh, Green Gables, how I've missed you. I'll spend every minute memorizing you before I go off to Redmond. Oh, Marilla, let me help you go get the bags.
Oh, no, child. You rest a little. You've earned it to take a first-class teaching license and the Avery Scholarship. All in 1 year. Oh, my.
I'd better get the mail and then get back to work.
Oh, why don't we all take a rest today, Matthew?
I don't know. There's always so much to do on the farm, even with a hired hand.
I just wish I'd been the boy you sent for. I could help you so much before I go off to college.
Well, now, I'd rather have you than a dozen boys. Guess I wasn't a boy that took that Avery Scholarship after all. It was a girl. My girl. My girl who I'm proud of.
Oh, Marilla, at least let me help you take these up to my room. The headaches again?
Oh, well, they come and go. The next time the specialist is coming, this week, the specialist is coming to the island, and this time I'm going to see him. These bags are heavier than when you left.
I took all of my books home with me. Some students sell them or give them to friends, but I wouldn't part with a single solitary one.
Whoa.
Then everyone except Josie left, and there she was surrounded by all...
What? Oh, Matthew, what's wrong?
It's the bank. The Abbott Bank. It failed.
Oh, are you sure?
It's all right there. Everything we had in the bank is gone.
Well, Matthew, you've got to lie down. You're real sick.
Should have put our money in the savings bank like you said.
Oh, well, we can't do anything about that now. Anyway, we didn't have all that much.
It's gone. Oh, God.
Oh, Matthew, you... Help him! Okay, Anne, I'll get him up to his room. You go get Martin. Tell him to fetch the doctor at once.
Help my Miss Barry and Miss Lynde and anyone else I can find. Martin, it's Matthew. He's sick, real sick.
Matthew, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
With his crystal
going to be late for church. Where have you been?
I left before you got up. I went to the cemetery and I planted a rose bush at the foot of Matthew's grave. A white Scotch rose bush. He always loved those roses the best.
Oh, Marilla, what are we going to do without him?
We'll just have to deal with each other. Now, it's never been easy for me to say things of the heart, but I just want you to know that I love you as if you were of my own flesh and blood. You've been my joy and my comfort ever since you came to Green Gables.
Oh, Marilla.
Why, Mr. Sadler? I wasn't expecting you today.
Morning, Miss Cuthbert. I was just out from Carmody to visit my uncle here in Avonlea. Thought we might talk.
Yes, well, we were just getting to church.
Of course. Sunday's the most appropriate day to discuss business. I'll just drop by tomorrow.
So,
Morning to both of you.
Marilla?
You'd best be getting ready for church.
All I need is my hat. What did that man want?
You know how punctual Reverend Allen is with his services.
Marilla, what kind of business?
Well, I suppose you might as well know. The specialist prescribed me a new pair of glasses last week.
You already told me that.
But I didn't tell you that he said that soon I wouldn't be able to read or cook or sew or do any work that strains my eyes, or I'll be blind in 6 months.
Marilla!
I can't run the farm, and there's no money left to keep a hired hand, so I'm afraid we'll have to sell Green Gables. Mr. Sadler wants to buy it.
Sell Green Gables?
There's nothing left to be done. I'm just so glad you're taking care of that scholarship. Rachel Lynn said that I can board with her. I'm just sorry that you won't have a home to come to on your vacation, that's all.
You mustn't sell Green Gables.
I can't stay here alone.
You won't be alone. I'll be here with you.
But you'll be at Redmond.
I'm not going to Redmond.
Not going? What do you mean?
Just what I said. I'm not taking that scholarship.
But Anne,
I'll get a teaching job here in Avonlea and will use part of my salary to pay a hired hand.
But where would you teach? Gilbert Blythe already has the position here in Avonlea, and anywhere else would be too far away for you to live here.
Then I'll be the hired hand myself. I'll cook to you and clean for you and read to you. We'll be real cozy here together, you and I.
But Anne, I can't let you give up that scholarship.
And I can't let you give up Green Gables.
But Anne, your hopes, your ambitions.
They haven't changed. We've just come to a little bend in the road, that's all, and we have to bend with it. Listen, church services already started. You go on ahead and I'll catch up to you.
Bless it, girl. Oh, well, if that's Mr. Sadler, I'll just tell him again that it's Sunday and we don't wish to do business. Oh, why? Mr. Gilbert Blythe.
Morning, Miss Cuthbert.
Maybe you can get Anne to hurry along to church. She seems awful full of stalling tactics today.
Hello, Anne.
Gilbert,
I understand from Mrs. Lynn that you plan to sell the farm.
why does Avonlea need a newspaper when it has Miss Rachel Lynn? We were going to sell, but not anymore.
Because you're going to stay here and give up your scholarship.
How did you know?
I know you and your love for Green Gables. But how you manage? You don't have a job, do you?
Well, thanks something.
What about the teaching job here in Avonlea?
Well, that job is already yours. Here, the Board of Trustees has already approved your application.
I withdrew my application.
Why would you do that?
I found a teaching job at White Sands and I recommended you for the position here. And the board said all you need to do is apply.
Thank you. Thank you, Gilbert.
I hope after this we can be friends and that you'll forgive me my old faults.
I forgave you long ago. I was just too stubborn to admit it.
May I walk you to church? I think the service has just started.
You go on ahead. I'll get my hat and I'll see you there.
It's a shame Mr. Phillips won't be there.
Her old school teacher. Why?
He might make us sit together for being late.
Then let's pretend he is here and we'll sit together anyway.
I have an idea. Why don't I reintroduce myself and we'll start all over again.
An excellent idea.
My name is Gilbert Blythe and I'm very pleased to meet you. I'll be waiting for you at church.
And my name's Anne Shirley, but please call me Cordelia. I think that Cordelia... My name is Anne of Green Gables, and at this moment, God is in his heaven, and all's right with the world.